There's more to see, more than just the roads, the grove, my street. Show me the world. I know there's more for me. Show me the world.
Living in a first world country, one is constantly surrounded by pollutants. Not just of the atmosphere, but also of the body and the mind. We live in a society where we let people starve on the street and allow ourselves to be fed mass-produced poison. Our monetary system, combined with our toxic environment, leaves many drowning in debt and medical bills. Unable to stay afloat, many decide to make a desperate escape.
Bury my worries at the bottom of a Heineken beer. Rapid cutting like blender blades, shredded.
But there are some who are making steps toward a brighter future.
We're learning how to grow food.
Building a community.
Including a number of educators, activists, organizers, gardeners, community members, folks from the Neighborhood Association, folks from the Merchants Association, folks from the Mayor's Office of Economic and Workforce Development.
All complex problems need complex solutions. So there's no silver bullet, no easy answer, no one thing, and no one thing we can do in the short term. There's a lot of things we have to do. And some of it is scissors. We need to use the scissors effect. We need to do things on the bottom and the things on the top. When you have a tool on the bottom and a tool on the top, when they come together and create the scissors, you can cut through a problem. There are a lot of major problems in our society, unfortunately, but one that we can talk about is food, because it connects so much. Food connects everyone because we all eat. It's an existential thing that keeps us alive. But the major problems with food are many, and they're connected. We are alienated from our food in some ways, like we're alienated from each other, like we're alienated from nature. So there's a lot of alienation going on. We're separate from our food, so we feel disconnected. We don't raise our own food, most of us, or most of our food. We chemicalize our food, spraying all sorts of poisons on it. We spray poisons on it, herbicides, insecticides, fungicides. What we're spraying on our foods is designed to kill. Not designed to kill us, but designed to kill, and we ingest some of that. And so it kills us a little bit too. It causes illness, disease is dis-ease, right? Increases the rates of cancer while lowering the nutritional profile of these foods. Increasingly, they're genetically engineering foods, mixing the species of one into another, taking the gene from a flounder fish and putting it into a tomato, right? So we don't even know what this does to us, but it could increase all sorts of problems, allergies, other things. They talk about super bugs, super weeds, antibiotic resistant things. And we see some evidence of this. And we see the evidence on people, we see the evidence on plants and flowers, we see the evidence on monarch butterflies. Lots of things going on. We also see that the consumption of animals and animal products like milk and eggs has gone up so much. And it's been disastrous. These aren't really foods in a way. They're eaten as foods, but they're not foods. These are other living animals that aren't meant to be foods. And then we take in too much cholesterol, we take in saturated fat. Some people say we take in the pain and the fear that they experience in their short, tortured lives that end before there's, that end in slaughter. Also problematic in so many ways. And then the revenge of the animals is that we take in too much fat and cholesterol, and we're much more likely to get heart disease, the #1 cause of death in the world. Cancer, stroke, gout, obesity, diabetes, Alzheimer's, maybe multiple sclerosis and other things. We're creating so many problems for ourselves. And food ties into the environment as well. We use so much land to grow food, so much water to irrigate it. If it's for food, it's a good thing. But most of the crops we grow, most of the land we use to grow those crops are being fed to animals. In this country, a majority of corn, soy, wheat, oats, and alfalfa, all super healthy foods, are going to feed animals. And it's so inefficient, and then people eat those animals instead of eating that healthy food. So we're using up a lot of land, we're using a lot of water, a lot of chemicals, a lot of fossil fuels, a lot of energy. 98% of America is deforested. 1/5 of the Amazon rainforest has been deforested just since the 1970s. And 80% of that deforested land since the 1970s is now used for livestock, for cattle ranching. We're also growing increasingly genetically engineered soybeans and other foods in the former Amazon lands and then feeding that to cows, chickens, and pigs. It's a disaster on every single level. The Amazon rainforest, besides being just spectacularly beautiful, is mega biodiverse and is considered the lungs of our planet. It absorbs the carbon dioxide that we exhale, and it gives off the oxygen that we need to survive. It also filters our water. It generates medicine, food, and a living habitat for indigenous and other communities. That's all connected to food, and we all eat it every day, and we need it to survive. We need to, as Gandhi said, be the change we want to see in the world. We need to create the alternatives now, not just fight systems that exist, but also create alternative systems that can exist. And so we can eat lower on the food chain. We can eat vegetarian, vegan, or just radically decrease animal products. We can try to cut the chemicals out of our lives.
Well, Gracias Madre is, of course, a vegan Mexican food restaurant, and not just is vegan, but also everything that we sell is organic, and we also, for the most part, work with local and seasonal ingredients, local and seasonal vegetables, and the owners of the restaurant also have their own farm. Not just we work with our own people, the farm, but also with other farms in the Bay Area, and we all try to have good relationships with them, and just overall make it into a sustainable business.
So on the top, we need to change our government policies and subsidies and biases towards capitalist greed. We need to change our corporations and make them more sustainable. We need to change our religious institutions, our nonprofit organizations. We need to change a lot of things at the top, change our social forces. So instead of rewarding effectively downward vicious cycles, we find a way to reward positive, upward, virtuous circles. Right? We can do that with changing our structures. But there's also things while we're doing that, at the exact same time we're doing that, we need to do things on the personal level. Cut the genetic engineering out of our lives. And while we're doing that, be a witness, be a role model, spread the awareness, so that we're changing culture on the micro level. We're trying to change institutions on the macro level and create alternatives like urban farms and backyard gardens and community gardens, and support farmers markets, which are great.
Now we got a little garden bed right here, establishing some food for our community. We're within Audio Pharmacy, and our project is called Collective Wave, bringing the community together to be self-sufficient. And we start by growing our own food, and eventually have our own energy, and eventually have our own water, our own clothes, our own education, and be self-sufficient and sustainable. Why we do this? Well, our planet is not in good shape right now. It's having a lot of problems with society taking advantage of it.
Are you meant to be human real life? You can't take it till you bury human real life. What it say? All your possessions ain't real life. It ain't real life. Push those obsessions away. Make noise if you wanna.
I believe with all the information that we've been learning, each and every one of us learning from newspapers, books, internet, meeting other people, school, we are learning that we have to step up and find ways how to help shape our society and families, and establish something where we feel comfortable with for future generations, for our kids. So going back to basics, like growing our own food, is as sustainable as we can get.
The only one to live filthy and wealthy, no guidance to tell me how can I stay healthy. If I can't trust, then who can I trust? Till the battle's not done, you forgot about us. Yeah, I cannot trust, and then who can I trust? Till the battle's not done, you forgot about us. Yeah, make noise if you.
Organic and urban farming.
Well, my name is Jay, and I'm an urban farmer. This is Hayes Valley Farm. It's a community-run urban agriculture project located in the center of San Francisco. It's 2.2 acres. It used to be the freeway on and off ramps. For 20 years, this was a vacant lot that was used to park city vehicles, to have parties at night. There's a lot of homeless camps, drug use, intravenous needles left behind, condoms, prostitution. This was a space that people ignored. It was a 2-acre vacant chained up fence that nobody went in and nobody looked in. So it was forgotten. So one of the most amazing things is the ability to create the conditions you want. You can do a lot in the farming. And one of the ways that we were able to learn this was learning a unique perspective on agriculture, and it's called permaculture. And permaculture takes the two words combined, permanent and agriculture, and looks at ways to permanently grow food. Looks at ways to grow food the way the forest grows food. One of the things that we were trying here at Hayes Valley Farm is to do an organic fertilizer based on nitrogen being fixed in the nodules of legumes, whether it's beans or peas, and having those beans and peas never go to flower so that they never go to bean. And before all that happens, when they've stored that maximum amount of nitrogen, just as the flowers start to get bright, we'll chop them all down, and the roots die back, and the fertilizer is released into the soil that it was saving up to grow and make the pea. Composting. So we are always doing compost with the worms, with organic matter and kitchen scraps, with flipping hot compost, with slow compost, with worm bins, worm mounds, a big pile that was just rotten. I mean, every single way that we can try to compost something and turn it into fertility, we're adding that into the cycle. And the idea of having a place where community can gather, where they can learn things, where they can share things. In this case, it's a farm, and they're learning about growing food and sharing food. But it could be so many things. The idea is most communities lack the spaces to gather and become a community. The idea of where do we go from box to house, to box to car, to box to train or bus, to cube, to shell, to condo, to garage, and we don't interact. We get out of a car and go to the store, we get back into the car and we go to our garage. There's too much of this, and what I found out was people were yearning to get outside. And what we say is that when you go to the farm, you're solving nature deficit disorder. Like seriously, you just need some nature in your life. You need a little dirt under your nails. You need to talk to somebody. You need a little interaction with the plants, with the people, with the world. And this place is alive. 50,000 people drive in a circle around here every day because it used to be the freeway on and off ramp. So they're getting on right there and they're getting off right here. And they're walking by. There's a great neighborhood here with a lot of stores and shops and restaurants and coffee and fun. The community around us supports us and loves us as a farm. If nothing else, it's because it's no longer just blight. It could have been so many things. It didn't have to be a farm. It was one thing that a lot of people wanted to do. But vacant spaces in the temporary use, this interim use, we can make positive change by having places for our communities to gather, to have place making, to have the people working together to design something together. Here it became a farm. Over there it may be a bike shop, or it might be a seed library, or a recycle center, or a clothing operation, or who knows? These ideas of placemaking, of co-creating with your community, of working and finding places that can be transformed from blight and underused to something that people want, and most importantly, to something that the people that live there want. That's Hayes Valley Farm in a nutshell, and that's urban agriculture as it's going to succeed or fail. It's whether or not people actually want it. Rock on.
Show me the world, there's more for me. Show me the world, there's more to see. Show me the world, there's more to see. More than just the roads, the grows, my street. Show me the world, there's more for me. Show me the world, there's more to see.
Keep your hands clean from the dirt and the drama, and you stand free from the hurt and the karma. What it say? Make noise if you wanna, and don't you ever get back in the corner. Keep your hands clean from the dirt and the drama, and you stand free from the hurt and the karma.